What's up, guys? We're back today with another Trainz video, one that I said I was going to do earlier and just haven't had the time and drive to sit down and do, but we're going to do it today. So today we've got the known to me available freeware for the Eagle River route. Now, I did a video on the Eagle River route already, and I said I would do a video on the freeware stuff that is available for it, because there is a pretty decent amount of freeware stuff available. But some of it I, honest to gosh, couldn't figure out for the life of me where I got it. And yeah, I think I figured out where I got most of it, so now I can do the video. So yeah, so we're gonna start with the steam locomotives today and move up to the diesels. And like I said, to my knowledge, I got all of the freeware that I know of available for the Eagle River, and I've got it set out here. If there's other stuff available, please do let me know, because I love to add to the collection. I love this route and I love everything that goes with it. Matter of fact, I've made some of my own stuff that I don't plan to release because I suck at repaints, but this is all of the available stuff to you guys, not my stuff. So starting off, gonna be looking at a couple of the Mallets, a couple 2662s. These are available from Trainz Forge, I believe, if I remember right. That's where I got these. And you'll get two separate versions, number 19, number 20. These are set numbers, they are not dynamic. So these are the only two that you get, which, it's fine. It's not a overly huge route, so dynamic numbering's not a big deal to me for it, even with my expansions. So, and I turned the shader up for this video, so if it looks unnaturally bright for the Eagle River, for those of you that do have it, it's because I turned the shader up and reset the cycle so that you guys can actually see what we're looking at. Because for those of you that either A, saw my other video for the Eagle River route itself, or B, own the route, you know it's set pretty dark, pretty hazy. So anywho, you get number 19, number 20. They're pretty much identical locomotives. The only real difference that I see is the number, obviously, and number 19 is got a lot more dust to it, or weathering going on, whereas 20 looks a lot cleaner. One for more modern heritage operations, if you want, I guess. But they also have a few of the details. They do have some little deals you can change up on them. So, you know, roof hatch opener closed, cab doors opener closed, and spark arrestor if you choose. I like to put both locomotives down and add a spark arrestor just to one of them, just for giggles and squiggles. But I have no idea what the outside temperature makes a difference for, so oh, maybe I do. It's the generator. Okay. I'll discover something new every day. Alright, well. Outside temperature gauge right here controls the generator smoke. I don't know why they would do that, but yeah, well, it is what it is. Unfortunately, our bell is not a operating bell, which from the looks of it, it's a steam operated bell, so you wouldn't see this bell actually swinging anyway. You'd only see the little the actual little bead in here knocking against the sides, but not a bad sounding bell. The whistle we've heard before on some of the other shays and such that are available through the download station, but and yeah, some of you have probably heard it. It's a loop, not a loop whistle. I don't know how to describe it. It's one of those whistles that plays through a whole sequence that, for those of you that know me, know I don't like whistles like that. I like to be able to control the whistle. I don't like it to play through a whole thing, but you know, some people like it. It's good for videos and whatnot, especially if you like to do like movie style videos, cinematic videos. It's a good whistle for that. But pretty good sounding. I kind of wish the chuffs were a little deeper, but it's Trainz. It's stupid easy to change up the sounds if you really want to. I'd put a different whistle on number 20, but I'm not showing that off because that's not how it comes. So I put a different whistle. I haven't changed the chuff sounds yet, but yeah, there's the Mallets. And what do we got next? Let's go up here and do the Willamette real quick. I have the Willamette somewhere else because it's loud. So this one is available from Trainz Forge as well. This is an excellent looking model, and it is freeware. And for those of you that don't know, a Willamette is, it's like a Shea, but not quite. The Willamette came around when the Shea patents went up, and the very first thing that, well, the first thing nobody would notice, but the first thing that most people would notice if they understand geared locomotives and that's what they're into is on a Shea, typically one of your cylinders is reversed. And on a Willamette, they're all three facing the same direction. So that's the first telltale difference. What the major differences are, I couldn't say exactly. I didn't park a Shea here to show off, but it's available through Trainz Forge, and I don't have it down there because the idle noise, it's just loud. It's hard to hear. I didn't want it sitting down there the whole time we're sitting there trying to do the video, so it's another one that is typical with Trainz Forge. You can click through, you got the banner, so I think it's pretty cool. Smoke door, open and close, fireman's windows, doors, roof hatch. Yeah, it's a pretty good looking locomotive. It's got a pretty good sounding whistle. Like I said, I don't like it when the audio file plays a tune to it already. I like to be able to do that myself, so that ending part irks me a little bit. It's hard to do your typical two longs, a short and a long. It makes it sound weird, but again, it's Trainz. You can change that if you want to. It's ridiculously easy. But bell does swing, and the bell is in sync, which is really nice. Matter of fact, I love the kind of wiggle to the bell cord here. You know, it's not great, this little bend here, but at least, I mean, you can even see it in the cab. It's kind of cool. It's just kind of a neat little deal. And again, great sounding locomotive. I love the deep chuffing. Our pumps here going off. That's why I don't leave it sitting down there, because these constantly go off and they're so loud. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I hear it, the popping. Pop, 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 pop. At the beginning and end of the audio for the pumps here. I don't know if that's just me. I don't know if it's just me that's hearing it, but if you guys hear it, let me know. I don't. That irks the snot out of me. It's one of the killers for me for using this locomotive. Is that popping noise gets to me. But other than that, really, really nice locomotive, and absolutely perfect for the switchback coming down from Camp B. Because if you modify the route, you can drop this this speed limit here down to like 10 miles an hour so that you can actually use the geared locomotives, because we have another geared locomotive we're going to look at in a minute to really make this more sensible, I guess, for using geared locomotives. Drop the speed limit down, maybe add wiggles and squiggles to the tracks. But yeah, so Willamette. So what do we got next? Eagle River number 29. Number 29 is a 280, one of two of the 280s that are freeware. Yeah. And these are from Canadian Locomotive Works, Carlsbad Locomotive Works. I'm not dead certain. I will have the link in the description where you can get these. But like I said, I'm not 100% certain where I found these. But this is one of my favorite locomotives to use on this route. I love the audio file to it. I love the basic look to it. It looks like a logging locomotive. It has that look to it that just, it fits. And the others back here that we're going to look at in a second, they're not necessarily not logging locomotives, but they just, I don't know. I'm from East Texas. These 280s, these smaller 280s, are a common sight for East Texas logging up in the pinewood forests and whatnot. These would be a very common sight. Anybody that knows of the Moscow, Camden, and San Augustine Railroad, which is it's one of the oldest logging operations in the United States, but it's a little 7-mile line down in East Texas, and these 280s and 282s were popular, very popular with that route, and they lasted for forever. And yeah, I love this locomotive. Like I said, I love the audio file. Let's see, whistle. Without a doubt, my favorite whistle out of all these locomotives. I absolutely adore that whistle. It sounds like one used on the either Durango or Silverton or the Cumberland Tultic up in the mountains. It's got a nice mountainy echo to it that fits this route. It doesn't have a playable little tune going on with it, so you can do a normal crossing whistle and whatnot. That does have a little bit of a drawn out if you try to just do a quick tap, but I love that whistle. Oh, I love that whistle. Bell's not bad. Obviously, it is operated, but it's not terrible. I do like it. I don't hate it. Chuff rate's pretty good. Good sounding locomotive overall. Good looking locomotive overall. The only thing that doesn't just thrill me to death, I don't like the diamond stack on it. It's, you know, it is what it is. And this is definitely an older model, as you guys can tell. The rivets and such are just Photoshop on into the file, and the edges are very much squared off. It's not round as it should be, but it's an older model. I'm not looking at it that. I'm not sitting up here on the locomotive looking at it like that. So, but yeah, good looking locomotive. So that's number 29. There are two versions of this one. I didn't put them down. I did not put down all versions of these locomotives just because if I did, this yard would be full. Because there are a bunch of different versions. Most of the differences between the versions between all these locomotives is going to be color. That's it. So I think the difference between this one and version 1 is it's got a darker smoke box and a different tender logo. That's it. Same exact sound, same exact locomotive. So I didn't see any reason in putting them all down. Yeah, it's number 29. What's next? We got number 45, which is the other 280 consolidation. This one is more akin to the 280 that we see as payware from K&L. But for those of you that Maybe you just bought the route and don't want to spend more money. It's a decent alternative. It goes along really nice with the K&L 280 though, so I do highly recommend picking it up. But again, it's an older model. I believe most of these are from Ben Neal. But older model, again, angled, not rounded off, and painted on rivets and such. But it's not bad. Like I said, I'm not sitting up on the model. Typically, you know, trackside and whatnot, doing little views and scenes and whatnot. But again, great looking locomotive. Again, very, very similar to the K&L model. We've got our doghouse on the tender, same basic coloring. Now, again, there's a version 1, 2, and 3 of this locomotive. Non-dynamic numbers. It's only 45, but the color is the only difference again. And I don't think the headlight glare. If you guys like the glaring headlight, otherwise just a normal headlight. But again, pretty good sounding whistle. Again, I like the kind of mountainy echo. It fits this route really well, so I like that kind of echoing effect to the whistle. Bell, it's pretty much the same bell model of the other locomotive. It is kind of funky. So it is a steam operated bell, but we still have a pull cord for the bell, and the pull cord doesn't move with the bell. So if you're looking a little hard, that might irk you. It doesn't irk me, doesn't bother me at all. So pretty decent sounding. I kind of like the Mallets up there. I kind of wish it was a little deeper, but not bad. Next. Oh, and I'm pretty sure these come. So this, the 262 and the 282s come in a pack. These are also Canadian Locomotive Works. And the 460 here is also from them, so just FYI. That's where those are from. So yeah, 280 number 45. What do we got next? 262 number 14. Another one that's got 3 versions. And this is probably my second favorite. Now I changed the sounds on the locomotive I use, the color scheme I use. But because I didn't like the whistle. I still don't like the whistle. But I love the 262 wheel arrangement. Again, another really popular wheel arrangement with logging railroads. Not so popular on mainline use, as the 262 wheel arrangement is very well known for what we call a prairie wobble, the prairie type wobble, and it's not so noticeable on logging railroads, because logging railroads typically you're not operating very fast. But 262 wheel arrangements are notoriously well known for wobbling really, really bad at high speeds, so much so that they would often throw themselves off the tracks. There are some railroads that kind of figured out how to resolve it to an extent. So like the Santa Fe was a big user for the 262s. But for the most part, 262s in the United States were regulated to logging railroads. They were really popular logging railroads. High tractive effort, but a small base locomotive that could be used anywhere for anything, for any reason. Switching, heavy trains, passenger, whatever. And again, this locomotive fits this route perfectly. I love it. Again, older model, squared off edges, but doesn't bother me. The same issue with the 280. The cord to the bell doesn't move with the bell, but the bell is a steam operated bell, so good sound. Oh, and the when you turn the bell off, it just stops. Yeah. That does irk me a little bit, but not too much. I'm not horribly pissed off about it. Just kind of a little like, eh. Now, like I said, I love the whistle echo. I don't like the whistle itself. That's just a personal preference. I don't like the whistle. I don't like the high pitched. Never been a big fan of high pitched screechy whistles. But I love the chuff. Nice, kind of deep. Honestly, the chuff sounds that I would say should have been on the 280, but aren't. But I love the chuff sounds. Great sounding locomotive. Good looking locomotive. Fits in great. What's next? What's next? 262. The 282. Another one that's got a bunch of different versions, which are mostly color changes, but this is the only one in this locomotive gets a different headlight placement, centered headlight or a high headlight, and then different color combos. Great looking locomotive. Being from East Texas, it doesn't quite look like a logging locomotive, but I know somebody's gonna pop off. Oh, they were used for logging. I know. It doesn't give me the feel of a logging locomotive. For those of you that know of the Texas State Railroad, that's what this locomotive looks like. From number 200? No. The Magma, Arizona locomotive, the 282. That is what this locomotive reminds me of. That is not a logging locomotive. But it's similar to loggers that we have seen up in like Oregon, Washington, maybe. And matter of fact, I think there's one operational up there on one of the scenic railroads. Pretty hefty 282. But so it's not that it doesn't fit. It fits that kind of northwestern logging scene, but it just not to me. When I think of logging, I'm thinking of these little 262s and the Climax we're gonna look at and whatever. The Willamettes, maybe small 280s like that. Which I know I didn't say anything about the 262, the Mallets up there, but even then I feel like they're kind of large. And my same feelings to these 282s. They feel kind of large, but again, I know. 282s are used for logging. They were used for logging. I get it. I just don't feel it to me. So, that being said, they're not too terribly out of place on this route, especially if you do some route editing and make this mine operational, this loading operation here. If you go through and edit this area, make it usable, these locomotives actually do fit in with the Eagle River's. I turned this into a coal operation, turned it into whatever, but these look pretty good with a set of coal cars behind them. And another irk I have with these models is the tenders are one shade of black, the locomotive is another shade of black. So here we've got almost a grayish weathered black. The tender is most definitely just black. And the texturing on the tender definitely looks better. However, I get a kick out of this. The hatch for the water cover is wide open, so there's no water in the tender. It's kind of funny, but yeah, it is what it is. Can you close that? No. There's nothing really to change on these locomotives either, outside of the headlight glare. So yeah, these are probably my least favorite, if you guys couldn't tell. I don't know. They don't go off with me as well, but yeah, another one of those whistles I don't like. Again, I love the mountain echo, it fits, but I just don't like high-pitched screechy whistles, and it's Trainz. You guys can change it to whatever you want. It's easy. I love the bell. One of my favorite bell sounds. See, this bell resets. I don't know why it doesn't do it on the 262, but this one, turn it off and it falls. Yeah, whatever. Pretty decent sound. I think it's not too bad. Not too quiet, but not too overly deep. I like it. I like the sounds. I like the sounds overall. I just not a huge fan of the whistle. Just have very little honest use for this locomotive, I guess. Yep, 262 or the 282s. What's next? 460. Another locomotive that I won't say it's necessarily unheard of to see 460s on logging railroads, but it's also not exactly a common sight. Typically, the 460 arrangement has larger driving wheels that do not lend themselves well to logging operations, where track is rough. Oftentimes, the gradient varies a lot, and the loads are heavy. And larger driving wheels just don't lend themselves well to such areas on a smaller locomotive. But so yeah, this is a locomotive that I'm not. I don't want to say I have no use for on this route, because like with this green model here, it goes actually really, really well as a for heritage operations. If you get the K&L pack and get the passenger cars to go with it. This goes great as a heritage locomotive if you like to model a more modern era with the diesels and such. But it's one I can't find a huge amount of use for it personally, because I like modeling in the steam era, and these don't have a huge amount of use. Maybe pulling like general freight and passengers as a daily service from Keene up to Beaver Cove or wherever you guys might extend it to, but yeah, it's just me. Again, not a bad locomotive by any means. As a locomotive, it's a great locomotive, but I find more use out of the 282 as a logging locomotive than I do a 460, in part due to the model. But again, good looking model. Another one with many different variations. One of the only other ones, I believe the 282 is the only other one, but the 282, the 460 also get a variation with a centered headlight. Looks more like a mainline heavy locomotive for over the road, but I love that whistle. I took that whistle and put it on that 282. It's got the mountain echo to it, nice and deep. Love it. I don't hate the bell sound, but the bell does have that same issue where it stops wherever you turn it off. Not too bad sounding. Again, it's a little bit light. Not very deep. But, not terrible. Not bad sounding. Not bad locomotives. But, yeah, it's just one that I personally don't get a huge amount of use out of on a logging railroad. But, what do we have next? Still on steam locomotives. Climaxes. Now, I already did a video on these. These are the Huntington shops. TBG Climaxes. I only have a 3-truck version. I kind of wish they would do a 2-truck, but you know, it is what it is. I have a 3-truck version. 2 different colors, numbers 17 and 18. 18's got a more line, pretty look that would fit if you were doing more modern, like heritage operations going up the switchback here with a geared locomotive. Looks good with some of those open air passenger cars from the 480 pack from K&L, but you get an all black with just the yellow lettering and then the line version. And yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time. Like I said, I already did a video on these. These are the Huntington Shops Climax. You can check that video out if you really want a more detailed look at these. Not huge on the whistle, but again, easy to change. No operation to the bell, but I love the bell sound. And again, these are just great looking locomotives overall. They're fun to use for that area. They're fun to use for the switchback overall. Sound great, look great. Cool looking locomotives. Now, before I go on to the diesels, I already have all the passenger car or all the freight back here, all the Freeware freight. So we're gonna go ahead and look at them. What in the world? Okay. Well. There we go. Fixed it. Anywho, onward. I believe these are models from the Trainz Forge, but I'm pretty sure I found them on the download station. So, for these freight cars, I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, look on the download station first. Under Eagle River and ERSX. Put those, swap them out in the search bar, and you will find a good bit of these freight cars before you go, I mean, you didn't post a link for them. I'm telling you right now, look on the download station first, because I do not remember which of these came from the download station and which ones came from Trainz Forge. The one and only car I'm dead certain came from Trainz Forge is this logging car, this skeleton log car. So I'll tell you that right now, just get it out of the way. Look on the download station first, and then look through Trainz Forge, because this is most definitely Trainz Forge's modeling. But I don't know which ones I got from there and which ones the download station. So anyway, that's out of the way. These are the 36-foot box cars, wooden box cars. If you don't model the steam era on this route, you won't get a lot of use out of these. These are obviously old box cars. These are old by the time most of these locomotives are in operation anyway, but logging railroads are known for using old early stuff. So, yeah, good looking box cars. Two different variants. One with almost like it was re-lettered, but one like that, one like that. Two different variants, two different weathering. Yeah, pretty good looking. You'll have to change the roof it up a little bit, add some stuff in if you really want to make good use out of these. Otherwise, there's no major use for them. I mean, pulling empty box car like it's loaded from maybe the ports up at Beaver Cove to different camps, but yeah, won't have a whole lot of use out of the box cars outside of that. I have those. I have a 40-foot flat car. Again, you'll have to change some stuff up to make these useful. Just about all these cars outside, well, I guess technically you'll have to change up stuff for those too, but a 40-foot flat car. This is an older model, I'm pretty sure from Ben Neal again, so photo texturing. Not bad looking, not horrible. Could use an update. Squared off edges, but yeah, not bad. Same for the box car. This is another box car. I'm pretty sure this, and this came from the download station. Pretty sure. Not dead certain, but another 36-foot box car, I think. And a cattle car. So these are definitely older models, but yeah, not bad. Adds variety. And we got skeleton log cars. Essential for a logging operation, right? So these are from Trainz Forge. This model right here, Eagle River and Timber. You will absolutely have to change up the loaders up here at Beaver Cove, or up at Camp B and Camp A. You'll have to change the logging loaders to include the 40-foot stacks that these skeleton cars use, but and you'll have to change the Beaver Cove unloader to accept these, but not too hard. It's route editor. But texturing is kind of bland, especially compared to these, and I'm pretty sure these also came from I think these look like Trainz Forge models, kind of like that. Same creator, obviously. Look at the wheels, but these look better. Look more weathered, more used, as opposed to these. But, you know, you throw some logs on there, you won't really see the difference. But, color-wise, texture-wise, these definitely look better, these models. But pretty sure these came from the download station, and this came from Trainz Forge. So, yeah, there's a rolling stock that I know of that's freeware available. I would love to do up some other stuff, like some hoppers and whatnot, because the only hoppers available are the ones that come with the root. They're a little bit new, but anywho, there's the freight cars. What's next? Diesels. Onward to the diesels. Bam. An Alco RS-11. This is download station model. Older model, not stellar texturing, but you know, it's a freeware model. It goes pretty okay. Non-dynamic numbers, just 101. The horn's not too bad. You hear that changeover from the beginning loop to the middle loop, that click. So it could stand to be changed, but again, freeware model, easy to change. Good sounding bell. Nice and smoky, as an Alco should be. Chugs along like an Alco should. And if you like modeling the more modern era, this locomotive is really, really, really nice. Because it fits. I know logging and local factories and such industries, whenever they went to get diesels, a lot of them would pick up used Alcos and such like these. So you'd see little 4-axle Alcos a lot. So kind of a cool one. A different paint scheme though, which, yeah, it adds a little bit of flavor to the typical Eagle River colors, but definitely a different paint scheme of the black, red, and white. But yeah, I don't hate it. It's kind of cool, kind of different. But yeah, don't think you can do much to these. And the beacon. Unfortunately, you can't turn the beacon off once it's on, though. Class lights front and rear, but yeah, not much going on with it. Pretty different. Pretty cool. F7s, these are from the download station. These are really nice models, but the shiny glares kind of get me. All these little. It's not horrible. It's not that noticeable if you leave the environmental settings normal on Eagle River. You won't notice it half as bad, but like I said, I've got the colors turned up so you guys can see. So it makes the shininess of some of these models look kind of wonky. But there is an A and a B unit. The 2 A units available are not dynamically numbered. The B unit is not numbered at all, so you can have as many B units as you want. A units, you're going to have to renumber. You get number 200 and 202, so I assume that the B unit is 201. Good looking locomotives. It's almost like a modernized F7. With the ditch lights and whatnot. It almost looks like a more modernized F7, like one that they picked up secondhand and brought to more modern standards. But good looking locomotive. It's kind of entertaining that there is no idle smoke. I do not like the smoke effects very much on this locomotive. It just, don't like it. It sounds pretty good. It looks pretty good. I like the bell. I don't like the horn. A, you clearly have twin, like a Leslie A200. So definitely not. Yeah, I don't like the horn, and I don't like the loop. You hear that pop, and then it plays over, and then that pop, and then it plays over. There it goes. There. There. Yeah. Don't like the horn. So I changed the horns out on number 202, and I used 200 as the backup. But kind of an odd locomotive, to say the least, for logging operations. F7s are, I don't know, I don't want to say unheard of, but it's not something you would typically see on a logging operation. But they go really nicely with the included passenger cars that come with Eagle River. And these locomotives definitely make more sense than the GP40s. So, pulling that train. The full ABA set is a bit large for pulling that passenger train. So if you take it up to Beaver Cove, you will not be able to run around your train. But other than that, they're really cool. Again, they're well done. I love the coloring. I love the logo. It's my favorite logo for this route. I love that setup. But again, Freeware, can't complain. It's a good looking locomotive. That's next. The SD40T-2 tunnel motors. Another really weird locomotive to have been done for the Eagle River, because it's huge. Huge. Huge locomotive. These tunnel motors were they're big with the Southern Pacific, especially along like Donner's Pass, where there's a lot of tunnels along a mountain route. So these locomotives are built for that region, so that they are trying to think of how to describe it in simple terms. So the locomotive can breathe in the tunnels, to put it simply. But it's like one single tunnel on this route, which is over there. Like right, yeah, it's over there. But yeah, this locomotive doesn't make much sense. It's cool. I love it. It's a well done model. Looks great. Again, freeware. Can't complain. But I don't really see the point to it. Like, it's huge for this route. It's a big 6-axle locomotive that, again, if you modify the coal operation over here, maybe you get use out of it. But even then, you wouldn't see it paired up very often, because it's a powerhouse and it's long. So it looks wonky going around some of the curves. Like if you try to take it up the switchbacks here, the curves are kind of steep. And if you go up and modify the route and extend it off anywhere, you gotta plan on it being that long. But yeah, it's a long locomotive. It's large for a logging operation, but kind of a cool concept. Bit unheard of, but cool concept. Sounds great. No bells and whistles, but sounds great. It looks pretty great. Not entirely sold on the headlight glare, but is what it is. Good looking, good sounding. Just kind of like the 282. It's kind of large. I don't see you getting a huge amount of use out of this locomotive on this route, unless you modify it. Modify the route, not the locomotive. But last but not least, these came from, I don't know. Switchback? No, not Switchback. I'll put the link in the description for where these came from, because it slipped my mind. But it thrilled me to death when I found these. I stumbled on these on accident, just kind of scrolling through Google looking for random free Trainz freeware sites. These are little 45-ton switchers, little industrial switchers with the side rods. I love these little locomotives. I have one in a model, in an HO scale model, and I play with the thing all the time. I love these. It's got the little air whistle right here. This sounds great. I'm not sold on how they rev up and downshift, but they're not bad. They're not bad. I love them. I don't know where you'll get a huge amount of use out of these locomotives on this route. It's technically obviously one number, but two variants. You get one with an American flag and one with the eagle on the radiators. Yeah, I love these things. Like I said, I have to remember where I got them from. But yeah, like we're stopped right now and it's still winding down. I don't think you can really do anything to them. Yeah, cab lights, number boards, that's about it. I love these things. Good looking models, well done. Very well done. Great texturing. I like our little rain caps on the exhaust flopping there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you'll get used to them down at the sawdust drop off at Beaver Cove. That's actually, matter of fact, that's where I park one. Let's see. Let's go over to Beaver Cove here real quick. There's a little siding right here. Works out kind of nice to park that locomotive on, and you bring your sawdust cars, drop them off here and back here at the switch, and use that locomotive to switch them out, switch off empties and pull in the new and unload them and whatnot. But other than that, I'm not entirely certain where you'll get a huge amount of use out of these locomotives for this route, but I love them. This is one of those like not greatly useful locomotives that thrills me to death. It's just cool. It's fun, and you can use these for so many other options for different routes and whatnots. And where I got these, when you go to the link for them, the guy's got 3-4 different versions. And yeah, 45-ton diesels, center cabs, love them. But yep, that's about it. That's all the freeware that I know of that is available for the Eagle River Railroad. Yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I will put the links in the description for you guys to be able to go pick up all this and really add some flavor to your Eagle River operations. I know truth be told, I use most of this freeware more than I even use the payware that came with the route. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys found something cool and enjoyed it. I just noticed that. I'll have to fix that at some point. Anywho, hope you guys like it. Hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you next video I do.